Welcome to JMR Talks. In our last video on HR, its importance, we did looked at the concept of human resources, what is importance of human resources, and we also looked at Jason Jennings' research, who found that human resources is the only differentiator. We also discussed, few things what companies need to do to engage their employees, so that they remain loyal, they'll remain committed, and they give their best. Now let's continue the discussion, on that. The next step, companies, should take is to make the things simple. It is generally said that a good manager has to make things simple for his people, so that it's easy to comprehend, easy to understand. So the job of a manager in particular, and the job of the management in general, is to simplify the things, and most importantly, to enable the people, in terms of arranging the nitty-gritty, clarifying the things, facilitating. The next thing, what the companies need to do is they should go beyond the culture. Normally, the practice is at the time of recruiting the people is to to find, do they fit into the existing culture. Now, why we should insist that whomever we are recruiting, they should fit into the existing culture? Why not invite a new blood, a fresh blood? People come with new ideas and all that. So today, the talk of the town is diversity and inclusion. Different people, they bring diverse perspective, so as to enrich the existing society. Today we are in a VUCA world, volatile, uncertain, complex, and ambiguous world. So let's not think it over that whatever we think it's correct and all that. So let's look at what others also have to say, and what we'll consider what is best in the interest of the organization. The next step the companies should consider is that let them make the line managers own the human resource processes. It is well known fact that it is a human resource department which who designed the systems, procedures, practices about recruiting human resources, engaging all that. But once they recruit human resources, they are handled by the the line managers. That means their morale, their motivation, their engagement, everything depends on the line managers. While the policies and programs are designed by the HR people, these human resources are used and executed by the line managers. So let's make the line managers accountable for the people's performance. But it's not to say that HR is abdicating its responsibility. HR will continue to facilitate, but let the ownership be felt by line managers as well. But Gallup found that out of 5 managers, only 1 or 2 engaged. While it is a fact that the performance of the employees in terms of the strong and vibrant work environment to work at depends to a large extent on managers, sometimes a question arises as to, are the managers engaged? So there is a need to coach the managers also in terms of how to handle their employees perceptions, employees inspirations, employees desires, so that accordingly they can facilitate, and thereby employees giving their best. So what is the next? Meaningful work. Today youngsters, who constitute a significant percentage of the overall workforce, they are looking for purpose, they are looking for meaningful work. For instance, look at SpaceX factory in Los Angeles. There all the employees they wear the Mars t-shirts, and whenever a satellite is being launched, everybody watches on the giant screen. What does it mean? They feel that the work being undertaken by the company is purposeful and meaningful. So once when I was doing faculty internship at Dr. Reddy's laboratories, I found a tagline very catchy. And what was the tagline? Looked like? The medicines you produce cure the diseases. What a great tagline here. What kind of message is sending across the employees of Dr. Reddy's laboratories? Medicines you produce cures the diseases. That means you're working for the universal health as such. The next one is continuous learning. Why emphasize on continuous learning? We all know that absolute human resources is dangerous, but absolute human resources is disastrous. I repeat once again, absolute technology is dangerous, but absolute human resources is disastrous. Now look at an ordinary bench bus and a Volvo bus. If you ask the driver of an old bench bus or the Ashok Leyland bus to drive Volvo bus, he will not be able to do that. He has to be trained. And I understand the Volvo specifically puts a stipulation that whenever anyone buys their bus, one of their driver has to be trained by Volvo as such. So given the rapid technological developments taking place, it is all the more pertinent and important and crucial to train our human resources. Upskilling and reskilling has to be done on a continuous basis. In other words, the responsibility is on the leadership in general and the managers in particular to build a learning culture. A culture where people don't have such feelings as I know everything, I don't wish to know anything. And when they have the learning mindset, when they are open to learn from peers, from colleagues, from seniors and all that, it helps the company to come up with innovative products and services to market. The next, well-being. Thanks to the COVID, now all the more emphasis on mental health of employees. Gone are those days when emphasis used to be only on the physical health in terms of annual physical health checkups and all that. In one of the study, LinkedIn study, it was found that 49% of the respondents, they said they love to be with a company which cares for their well-being as such. So in addition to physical well-being, it's time companies focus on the mental well-being of the people as such. A sound mind in a sound body. So both of them are required. The next one is continuous feedback. We all know that feedback is very, very, very important. Employees love to know what's happening, how the managers feel about their work. Are they able to contribute well? Are they able to create, communicate and deliver? But when we are talking about feedback, it has to be a continuous one. If you are calling an employee somewhere in the month of June and discussing about the work done the last November, what is the fun here? He won't be able to improve on it in case there are any deficiencies in his work. Josh Bersin, a researcher, has found that 70% of the multinational corporations, they no longer conduct annual appraisals. What do? They continuously engage in conversations with the people. Companies like Microsoft, Google and all that, they have already adopted periodical feedback. When you are giving a periodical feedback or a continuous feedback, employee gets an opportunity to improve. And let the feedback be constructive and let the focus will be not on fault finding but enabling the employees to to improve. The problem with the traditional performance appraisal was the focus of assessment was on past performance, which led to either rewarding the employee or punishing. But that may not work in the VUCA environment of today. So in conclusion, we can say that in today's world, HR need to reorient its functions, make line managers also responsible so that they can work on employees engagement, etc., etc. And the best mantra for success is involve, inform, inspire, so that people perspire. Whatever we do in terms of formulating a policy, implementing a procedure and all that, let us involve the people. You inform them, take them into confidence, inspire by your transparent actions, so that, and once they get a feeling that here is a company which cares for their ideas, which cares for their well-being, I have no doubt that they'll give their best to the organization. And last but not the least, that they need to synchronize the personal and the company's values. It's very easy to say that synchronize the aspirations of individual with that of the management. It's a bit difficult, but nothing is impossible, because the word impossible itself contains I am possible. So let's hope that in the times to come, the companies will undertake some of these steps, whereby employees become motivated, they become loyal, they become committed, and they give their best. Now let us not take this lightly, because all other resources are either available, accessible, or affordable. So the only resource that could create, communicate, deliver value, and provide the much needed cutting edge, companies need to take some of these steps. Thank you.